This is Orsi, the old guy at oldguytalkstome.com, a podcast dedicated to helping older guys create kick-ass lives for themselves and those that they love. Join me regularly as I share my interviews with experts on various topics that include anti-aging, sex, relationships, and other things that will help you create that life that you want. Now, I want you to do three things. First of all, I want you to subscribe so you don't miss any of this life-changing information. 2, share it with others. And 3, review. Be sure to do all 3. And now for our podcast. This is Orsi, old guy from www.oldguytalks.com, here tonight with John Kaltenborn, the badass haberdasher. And before we get into this, I need to read this disclaimer. Do not do this on your own. This is information only. Consult with an appropriate fashion professional. Results will vary, and you are responsible for your own shit. So don't blame me if people start laughing at how you dress. So, John, just a few little things about John. In the background here, he's been 20 years, was an athletic trainer for a number of years. That's why he looks so fit. And he had his love of clothes and haberdashery really started when he was working with a men's basketball team.
Yep.
And for about 10 years, he didn't have it before because when he was starting in a relationship, the first gift he got from his wife was a wardrobe, and now he's teaching men how to dress. And in 2019, men really need to learn how to dress. Men really need to upgrade their packaging. Not their package, their packaging. That's a whole nother discussion. We are T-shirt nation, and we're all guilty of wearing more T-shirts and more sweatpants. I used to own a whole bunch of suits. I have one suit and one sport coat, and that seems to get me through the day. And you see a situation where, if you're going out and there's someplace out for dinner or the movies or a nice show or something like that, and the woman is all decked out to the max and just looking like spectacular. And the dude with her is wearing, pants they're dirty, that have holes that they're not supposed to be there. He didn't buy them with the holes there.
He's got T-shirt
for those. That's right. He's got a T-shirt with food stains on it, and his hair, it looks like he hasn't combed it since he left the womb. I mean, he's a total mess. And you're sitting there, you're wondering, is like, what is this hot woman doing with this loser? It's like, is it really that hard? So John, with that intro, I'm gonna ask you to kind of tell us, because you talked to me a little bit about how your father instilled the importance in you about dressing properly, and let's kind of tell us a little bit about your background, and then we'll kind of move on to some other things.
Okay. Well, I grew up a lower middle class family in Pennsylvania. My father was a speech pathologist. My mother was a 4th grade school teacher. Mom retired when my sister and I were born. Dad was bringing home the only income. And as a speech pathologist in the 70s and 80s, he wasn't pulling in 6 figures. But every day that he walked out the door to go work, he worked for Easter Seals for a good portion of his career. He had a coat and tie on. And I remember looking in his closet, and it was sport coats on one side, suits, pants on the other side, ties were hung neatly. And this was a man that was just scraping to get by and to support his family. But every day he walked out into the world, he had a coat, he had a tie on. And my mother's father was a physician. He, until basically he got lung cancer later in life, but he was a physician. He had a tie on. I always saw him in a tie, in a pair of pants. So I was surrounded by it when I was young. And one of the most impressionable things that happened to me early on was my dad, we went to go see his father in Florida for a trip. And we were flying from Florida from Pennsylvania. Well, Dad, on the plane, like, we're getting ready to go to the airport, and he's got a coat and tie on, and I'm like 6. So I'm like, well, Dad, why are you so dressed up? And I'll never forget this, Horace. He looked at me and he said, because, John, flying is a privilege. Not everyone can do it, and you should treat it as such. And it just, like, boom, right there. And to this day, if I'm going on an airplane, you will not catch me without a sport coat. Will not happen. My wife and I have kind of gone around and around. She likes to fly comfortably, and I travel like this. The first time we flew somewhere was it's really funny. We were dating and we went to St. Thomas. We went to the Caribbean for the week of Thanksgiving. I show up to pick her up to go to the airport. I got a sport coat hanging in the back, and she just looked at me. She goes, "You're not wearing that, are you?" I'm like, I look at her. She's got like her matching sweats and a pair of sneakers, and I go, "You're not wearing that, are you?" and the best part was, a month later, she gives me a new wardrobe because she didn't like what I was wearing. So,
oh, that's pretty funny.
Oh yeah, it's always been around me, Orest, and I liked, once I got into the world of men's basketball, basketball and fashion kind of go hand in hand. And any locker room, I don't care who you are, if you've been in a locker room, whether you're a man or a woman, you know how cutthroat it is, and like everything is fair game, nothing is off limits.
Sure.
And I remember the first year I was working, so I did 10 years with the James Madison University men's basketball team. My second year, they got a new coach, and he brought in a whole new staff of high rollers, guys, that played overseas, guys that played at Duke, Miami, really, really high level guys. About a month into it, he brought his suit guy up from Atlanta, and I walked into the staff locker room, and there are sport coats and fabric swatches and ties. And I was like a kid at a candy store. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And knowing full well that I couldn't afford any of it, but that I knew that was coming down the pike. So he got his guys some custom suits. The home opener for that coach for that year, I'm walking into the staff locker room. I have my, my little garment bag of clothes. I have to, I'm on the bench. I have to look nice. One of the assistant coaches, played professional overseas, guys, high roller, had a Rolex on his wrist, a pair of custom gator shoes. I think they were gator skins. And then he had like a $5,000 suit in the garment bag. And we're walking in the locker room together, and he looks over at me. He goes, "Chief, what do you got in the bag? Like, what are you bringing? It's a home opener. You got to look good. You got to make an impression." And I start rolling through the Rolodex of what's in my bag, looking at what he's carrying. I had a blue sport coat from a company that was long out of business, a pair of pants, a shirt. I have no, I wanted to crawl into a shell. But that cutthroat environment was every home game. What are you bringing today? What do you got? Like, what's coming? Like, oh, you got to do better than that. You can't wear that out there. Oh no, you got to embarrass us. So the haberdasher he came out of a defense mechanism. I had to learn how to dress just so I wouldn't get just ridiculed and destroyed in a locker room, 3 days a week.
Oh gosh. Well, let me tell you my airline story in sport coats. So I was just graduated the 8th grade. Okay. And I was flying from Chicago to, I guess it was to Phoenix. I think so. And I had been to. I was reading. That was a time. That was a long time ago. I'm a lot older than you are. That was in the 60s. Okay. And during that time, the James Bond books just came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was, and everybody dressed up on the plane then. I mean, at that point, and so I was sitting there with my turtleneck and my blazer and everything else.
Nice, good luck.
And he was sitting there, and this is when they still had free drinks in Coach. And
that dated you right there, bro.
That dated myself. Just a few more things that will tell me they actually serve hot meals in Coach. And the I guess we're supposed to call them flight attendants, but back in the 60s they were stewardesses. Yeah. And she looks at me and she says, "What would you like to drink?" And James Bond had just gotten out of the shower, and he was having with a woman, and he was just I was in 8th grade, and he was having a Bloody Mary.
You didn't.
I had a Bloody Mary. She looked at me, and then she saw how I was dressed, and she figured, oh, he must be close to 21.
That's awesome. But that makes a great point, though. You just proved the point that if you dress the part. Now, if you had been dressed like in a pair of like pajamas or something like
Yeah.
that, you got no shot at getting that Bloody Mary, brother.
That's
You
right.
know, it's the packaging. The packaging matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, so that's my airplane story.
Oh, I love it.
So that was a pretty unique moment. I'll always remember that. So so
Well,
John, tell me a little bit about what are the ramifications of not dressing properly when people go you know, socially, business wise, or whatever. What are the ramifications of that?
it as sad as this is to say, Orest, perceptions matter. People judge books by their cover. You can take a look, and the example that that jumps to my mind. I'm dating myself. The movie Pretty Woman with Julia Roberts and Richard Dreyfuss. When she's dressed as a prostitute and she goes in the store to buy, you know, to get clothing, to get everything, she's not dressed the part. And the ladies in the store, they ignore her, they ridicule her. She gets dolled up. She comes back, and when she walks in, dressed appropriately, in a manner of, you know, that fits the situation that she's in, all of the women in the store come flocking over to her. They basically fall all over themselves. Oh, can I help you? How can we help you? What can we do for you? Blah, blah, blah. And she stops and she goes, I was in here yesterday. I was in here yesterday. You may not remember me. And it's a great line because you didn't help me. You kicked me out. Big mistake. Big, huge. And that is it in a nutshell. You get treated differently. It's not right, but that's exactly how it works. I can't tell you, like, the easiest most of my examples. I was in the grocery store tonight. I stopped on the way home to grab some sushi for the family. I'm checking out, and the woman that was, you know, but I didn't go to the self-check aisle because that line was actually too long. The regular one was open, so I roll in. She looks up at me. She goes, "You look very debonair tonight." So, well, thank you very much. Had a lovely exchange with her. Versus if I had been T-shirt Nation, you know, in a pair of sweats, just, you know, rolling through looking like a bum, it may not have happened. The packaging matters. It affects how people perceive you, and perception's reality, and off of that, how they treat you.
Are they working?
I see reactions and comments and all that other fun stuff.
Oh, do you? Okay,
Right.
because I'm not seeing any. So, folks, we are back after a few technical difficulties, but I will try not to fidget anything around and do anything else. So we were talking about the importance of dressing properly and what the ramifications are for people that don't do that properly. So, John, when you take a client on, when you take a client out or help someone out, what is the process?
Well, and when somebody reaches out to me, or I talk about working with a client, the process initially is I need to know where they want to go. Like, what do they want? And that usually helps out a tremendous amount. They say, I want to look like James Bond, or I want to look like, you know, Johnny Depp, or, you know, they give me visuals. And the next thing I'll do, because everybody says, oh, well, you know, I don't have anything. I can't wear anything. I have every client do a closet. I do a closet evaluation, and I do it virtually. I mean, I've worked with people all over the country, and through the magic of, you know, these little devices right here, I have them walk me through their closet, and I see what there are. I see what they have. Prior to that, I'll have them pick out, like you said yourself, Orest, you have one suit and one sport coat. And I'll ask them, I'll say, okay, if you're going to go out to dinner, you're going to go on a date, you know, you need to look really good. Show me what your go-to outfit is. Show me what you wear. I need to see the tendencies between what they bring me. So if you do that, I'll see what you like, and then you'll take me into your closet, and I'll start to see tendencies and patterns hanging up in your closet that you never even thought of. Are you strictly a dark color guy? You know, is everything grays and blues and blacks? You don't even realize it's happening. I go in and I look at it and I start to see patterns. I say, okay, well, all your colors are dark. You want to look like James Bond. We can do, Bond is pretty, standard monochromatic, doesn't have a lot of color in his life. I had one client say, I want to look like Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory. I'm like, all right, that's easy. That's fun for me. But his closet was nothing but black. I'm like, all right, well, Willy Wonka doesn't wear black. So, I mean, I basically just, I pull the dipstick out. It's like a fashion litmus test. I pull it out, I see where you are, and then I start the process of, let's start incorporating you. Let's start teaching you the skill set of how to dress the way you want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you do that, what I'm trying to get an idea of style. And when you said what kind of style, and is style something that matters with age or other things like that? I mean, how do you address that issue and someone that maybe actually has no style? Let's take the worst case. Let's take the worst case scenario, and you got someone that has no style, or they have really bad style. And how do you do that transformation with them?
It's an educational process, and they need to be coachable. I take a look at, worst case scenario, they have no style, they have no idea of color. They don't see things. The hardest clients to work with are the ones that are colorblind, because it's so hard to match shades. That is a huge limiting factor. That's like totally handcuffing. But how do I start that process? It becomes a weekly kind of homework of, I want you to take a look at some colors that go together. And the thing that I tell all my clients when I work with them is, Mother Nature puts colors together perfectly. Valentine's Day is coming up. And here's what I mean. Valentine's Day is coming up. So if you walk into the flower shop, you will see shades of pinks with purples and blues and whites, and they look amazing together. So this tie, like, you take a look, this tie it's a light lavender. I've got a blue. I've got some gray. You can look around you. It's all in how you look at the world. You shift the vision just a little bit so they can see what colors go together. And all you do is you say, oh, well, that flower arrangement looks great. You walk into the men's store and you see, oh, well, there's a pink pocket square that matches the pink rose, and there's a red lapel pin that matches the red that's in that arrangement, and you start to pull everything together. That answer your question? Yeah.
So when you start, because I see you wear a lot of vests, a lot of what do they call pocket squares and things like that.
Pocket squares, lapel pins. Yep.
Lapel pins. How do you put that all together? And I think you kind of alluded about when you look at colors in nature, but where do you find it for like the individual man? In terms of putting it together, whether they get a pocket square or do or not, and those type of little things here and there.
Well, back in my basketball days, when I was trying to figure all this out, I had a lot of time on team buses. My nose was in like a GQ or an Esquire, and it helped me kind of see things. So how do I put together a pocket square with a lapel pin and something like that? It becomes what colors look good together naturally. There are certain colors that have a flow that work together. And the thing that I like to teach my clients, you're old enough to remember this. Do you remember Garanimals for the kids when you were little? When they were Sears and Roebuck, they had the animals that would match colors, so the kids could pick out their clothing. My mom would take me to Sears, and like, you match the green hippo with the green hippo shirt with the green hippo pants. And
no, I don't know about that. Okay, I'll take your word for it. So
yeah. But here's the thing. So when in the 80s and 90s, when fashion started to make a comeback, like pocket squares, lapel pins, all that, you would go and you would get like you would get a tie that had a matching to the pattern perfectly pocket square. So you would have a tie and a pocket square.
Right.
I don't like that. It's the easy way out. It's the lazy man's way to do it. It's the non-thinking. I'm going to put zero effort into this and just kind of try and see if I can pull this off. And like that now, so if you take a look at my guy on that I was wearing earlier, I've got a red pocket square in front of a white one. Both of them are folded differently, and it just brings a little pop of color, a little bit of something that works. Shades of color. It's Valentine's Day is this month. Red, pink. I'm incorporating that into all of my ensembles. So I'm very long-winded. How do I do that? I pull a color and I'm like, all right, well, does it go with this? How are the shades? I rarely ever try to match to the shade. It's way too hard these days. Unless you go to like JCPenney or Sears and you get the matching tie and the cummerbund and the shirt, and then I just want to bash my head through the wall.
Uh-oh. You better not go shopping with me, John.
No, that's the fun of it. And I've got a great story that I want to share with you. How I learned to see, how I learned to. Oh, my wife said, "Oh, there he is." There we go. I guess that's what you're saying. How I learned to shop. So I have a sibling. My sister is 3 years older than me, and when she turned 16, I was 13. And this was back when all the, like, going to the mall in the mid 80s was all the rage. And she's like, she got her driver's license, and she's like, well, I'm going to the mall with my friends, Mom. And I looked, and there were like 4 girls and my sister getting in a car going to the mall. And I was like, I asked my mom, like, can I go? And my sister let me come with her. So I learned how to shop around girls.
Okay.
Like I don't shop like a guy. Like I don't shop like a guy. I shop like a girl, and it's a huge asset for me. It helps me save money, and it helps me, I can zip through a store fairly quickly and fairly efficiently because of, 3 years of hanging out with my sister and her friends going to the mall.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. This is Oris, the official old guy at oldguytalkstome.com, a podcast dedicated to helping older guys create kick-ass lives for themselves and those that they love. And part of creating that life has to do with sex. But often, for old guys, there's a problem. It's called erectile dysfunction. And guys don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it to their significant others. They don't want to talk about it to their doctors. And they don't talk about it to other guys. I mean, let's face it, guys just don't sit around and talk about it. And the problem is that it affects their emotional and physical intimacy. It causes pain in their life. Often, men are embarrassed. They're embarrassed about it and will tend to even avoid sex for fear of not being able to perform. Now, for a while, those pills will work, and then eventually those are going to stop working. And then you start looking at other options, other medical therapies. And if you happen to do that, you find out that, well, they're very expensive. They can cost thousands of dollars. That's right, thousands of dollars. And some of them require, well, for you to go to the doctor multiple times, maybe 6 to 12 times. Now, for many men, the cost and the time is prohibitive, and they just end up not doing anything. One of the most famous therapies that you hear about on the internet and radio right now is called sonic wave therapy. And for many men, it works. But again, cost prohibitive, thousands of dollars, multiple visits. But now I'm pleased to tell you that there is a sonic wave ED therapy that's available for you to use in the privacy of your home. That's right. You don't have to go see a doctor. You don't have to get a prescription. No one has to know. You don't have to be embarrassed by going to the doctor's office with it. And best of all, it's at a fraction of the cost. Now, you may think that this is some sort of like cheesy little device that, well, it can't be as good as the thing that they use in the doctor's office. Well, I want to tell you, first of all, that this is an FDA-registered device. That's right, FDA-registered device. And it puts out the same sonic wave signature as the in-office device that doctors use. Now, it's an amazing thing. And you can do this in the privacy of your home. Again, you don't have to be frustrated. You don't have to continue to suffer. And your partner does not need to suffer also, because they do. They're hurt as much as you are. Now you're asking me, how do I find out more about this? How do I get this device? Well, let me tell you. Go to getmyphoenix.com/old guy. Again, getmyphoenix.com/old guy, old guy, one word, and click on that link, and you start to get the information and start to get the treatment that you're looking for and regain that confidence, your ability as a man, and regain the ability to have both physical and emotional intimacy. You're going to be glad you did. You're going to be glad you did. Don't wait. Don't procrastinate. Don't hesitate. Do it now. Get it. Stop the suffering. Stop the pain. Recreate that life that you want. Remember, at oldguytalkstome.com, it's all about creating a kick-ass life for yourself and those that you love.
Right. Like that.
So are there things that you say when you're consulting with clients? Are there certain patterns that you say you don't put together? Don't do this, don't do that. What kind of things? What kind of advice can you give people on that?
Typically, I mean, they're the safe patterns. You don't want to mix like stripes and polka dots and what this is called a window pane. So like checkers and stripes. Those are like standard old-fashioned rules. Don't wear white after Labor Day. You hear a lot. You don't want to wear a black pants with brown shoes. But as people evolve and get more comfortable, you can start to mix and match. You can start to bend those rules and break those rules. Mm-hmm. They say you're not supposed to put pattern upon pattern. That's a big one. You don't want to put a pattern on top of a pattern. But if you look, I've got checkers, I've got a window pane, and then if you look at my shirt, sure. I've got another pattern. I've got a pattern on a pattern. It's all in how you do it and how you pull it together. So to start out, to keep it simple, don't mix your patterns. That's a very safe way to start. You can work with, simple colors, build it just on colors, and then the pattern can be in the tie, or, the pattern can be in the shirt and then the tie is a plain color and the sport coat's a plain color. Things like that. Just throwing just one in when you're just starting out. Kind of getting your feet wet and getting to learn.
Okay. You use the term window pane.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Go ahead. What is that? What does that mean when you say window?
Window pane. It's basically a bigger check design.
Okay.
The squares are bigger and they resemble windows and window panes. It's used to describe things on vests, suits, sport coats, pants. It's just a bigger check. It's a bigger square. The classic picnic table color, those little smaller squares, that's called a gingham. That's a gingham pattern. There's a million patterns that are out there, and that's part of the process that I take the client through. And I do that seasonally because if we're going, so Oris, if I took you on as a client, I would do the closet evaluation. I would see your tendencies. I would see where you are. And then we're looking in the middle of February. I'd say, okay, well, you've got about a month and a half. You live in Arizona. You live in Nevada. Yeah, you live in Las Vegas. So if you're in somewhere that's cold, I was like, all right, well, you've got about 2 months left of cold weather. So we would start the foundation and work through the seasons. Because even where you are, you can wear things in this time of year that are thicker and warmer than you can in the summer. You have seasons where you are. It's hot, and then you went straight to hell hot. That's kind of how it works.
Yeah. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. So I take them through seasons, and every season has different types of patterns. They have different colors. Spring is a time where bright colors are used. You look at Mother Nature. I referenced this earlier. Mother Nature's a great reference and a great guide, because in the fall, where I live in Virginia, you have all the wonderful, deep reds and rusts and oranges that are on the leaves that are changing, well, you can start to pull that into the clothing that you wear. You can start to wear those colors, and there's a seasonal flow to colors, and that's what I work with. I take a man through a season. Whenever they come onboarded with me, whatever season we're in, all right, you learn how to dress in this season, and then we'll go to the next season, and we'll go from there.
Okay. How do you relate people's skin tone, their pigmentation, those type of things? Are those a factor in picking colors for someone?
Yeah, they are. They are. Oh wow, I need my power outlet. Yes, that's definitely something. You don't want to. I have a lighter skin tone versus somebody who has a darker or olive skin tone. It's gonna play into the shades and the colors and how they look on them, and you just have to be aware of it. There aren't like strict rules, but certain colors look better on certain people with different skin tones.
Okay, all right, okay. What when you and also then the next thing is that you talk about in the old days they said if you were fat, are we still allowed to say the word fat? I think so.
Yeah, fat.
Yeah, if somebody's fat, they're told don't wear horizontal stripes. Is that still true?
Yes, because they say vertical stripes are slimming, but if you're fat, you're fat. You can't hide it. I don't care what you're wearing.
Okay. So let's say you happen to be. What kind of things can you do to make yourself think that you look slimmer?
Well, in today's fashion for men, with everything being so tailored and so form fitting, you don't want it really, 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 really snug. You want things to fit, but you don't want it to be super tight. The patterns, like you said, stripes typically, historically, are slimming. I use air quotes for the crowd, slimming.
Okay.
But it becomes, now it's more of how do the clothes fit, because you can do more with how they fit than patterns, because the patterns are all over the place right now. It's actually a great time for patterns.
Okay. All right. And when let's talk about if you have, let's say, if you're on a budget, what would you say are the 5 things that a guy should have in his closet in terms of clothes? What are the 5 things that he should have? Outside. I mean, I'm talking about clothes. I'm not talking about shoes or. I'm talking about clothes like sport coats, suits, shirts, pants. What should be the basic things a guy should have?
Okay, so 5 things. One thing, and it goes across the board. I don't think it's ever going to go out of style. Is a navy blue blazer. A blue blazer is a staple, and it doesn't have to be the classic navy blue. Typically, a blue blazer, and then maybe a gray. The budget part, I'm thrilled that you brought that up, because I built, if you ever go to my Instagram page, it's John M. Kaltenborn on Instagram. Every picture that you see came out of my closet. I built my wardrobe over the course of 10 years. It's about 15 now, making less than $50,000 a year and supporting a family. I'm not flush with cash. There are excellent stores that you can get really good buys, and it goes back to my learning how to shop and when to shop to get the bargains. So the 5 things: you want a navy blue blazer, you want a good solid white dress shirt, probably 2. I don't say 1, you need 2, because let's just face it, you're gonna go out, you're gonna do something, and shit's gonna go on your shirt. So you got to have a backup. One tie. I don't care if it's a bow tie, if it's a regular tie. One tie. Color, something to go with the blue. It could be, just something like that. So we've got navy blue blazer, 2 white shirts, red tie, and a good pair of dress pants. Typically, if you're building and you're just starting out, gray or tan, like the khaki tan, super safe. Those are like staples, have been around since I was knee high to whatever. Those 5 things, you know, and you know, that it's a great, those are 5 great foundational pieces.
Okay. Speaking of shopping and being on a budget, have you ever done shopping at the secondhand stores or Goodwill?
Yes, my best find, I got 5 suits, and they were custom. One of them is a Brooks Brothers. One of them is a Saks Fifth Avenue. One is two of them were custom made by a tailor in West Virginia. I got 5 suits and probably 4 sport coats at a garage sale.
Oh wow!
Less than $100.
Sure.
For the whole thing, and it was one of those. I put it on and it happened to fit. I actually knew the family that was holding the garage sale, so I felt perfectly fine doing it. Oh yeah, secondhand stores like Goodwill, you can go to Goodwill, you can find something, and then you go take it to the dry cleaner. You're good to go.
Yeah, especially if you're go to a Goodwill that's in a good area. You know, a good neighborhood, a really good neighborhood.
Yes.
You'll find stuff. You'll find stuff with the price tag still on.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You know, I mean, my wife's guilty of that. Like, I'll walk into her closet, and I'll look, and I'll still see stuff with tags on. She's gotten a lot better. So, honey, you've gotten much better. But no, yeah, I mean, it happened. Yeah. So yeah, the secondhand stores are a great place to pick stuff up.
Okay, so I'm going to switch gears here a little bit, and I want to talk about dressing up casual.
Okay.
And you see some looks and tell me how people, what's the best way to really dress up. Let's say a pair of Levi's or you know, jeans, regular jeans or black jeans, with a maybe a shirt with a collar, maybe with a t-shirt, maybe with a sport coat. What's the whole look there? That's a fairly common. Yeah.
That is something I'm glad you brought up, because I want to show you something, if I may, if that's okay. Can I show you something?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
All right. Hopefully you'll be able to. Let's see. Can you see that?
Okay.
That is okay. So that's super casual. And I'm gonna name the store. So the jeans are a pair of Old Navy jeans that I've had for about 3-4 years. Paid like $20 for it. The gray shirt, that's a hooded shirt, is a gray, very lightweight thermal. I actually picked that up. That was a gift for working an event that I was working. I was working the Winter X Games. That was a staff gift. The black coat, it's a coat from a company called Backrack that I absolutely love. They've got some great stuff. And that's casual. I went to, my daughter had a jump rope performance. That was Saturday night, and that's what I wore out. And it becomes, so, you know, you can use something as simple as a flannel, as a Henley, or a thin hooded shirt, you know, to create your look, to do whatever you want. And it's what do you feel comfortable in, and what do you like to wear? Do you like to wear a V-neck? If you like how a V-neck t-shirt looks with a sport coat over top of it, dude, wear it, own it, do it. There's nothing like, there's nothing. I will rarely tell someone, no, don't wear this with that, because if they're comfortable in it, that's part of being a haberdasher, is owning what you wear and being comfortable in it. So,
yeah.
Did that answer your question? I'm not trying to.
No, it did. And you know, for people that are on this call, on this program, if you've got any questions, please chime in, and so I can see them. So, tucking it in or not on the shirt, what's the call on that?
Depends on the event and what you're doing. If you're going to something that's casual but not super casual, I prefer to tuck it in. That's just a personal preference. If you know the picture that I showed you, I was hanging out. You know, it's untucked. It's untucked. I was going to like a basketball game.
Mm.
The button-down shirt, to me, I prefer to have it tucked in, but you can there's kind of like a line of how nice am I going, or how casual am I going. If you're going more casual, something that's a lot more laid back, like if you're just going to hang out with the guys to smoke a cigar and drink some scotch, man, untuck it.
Yeah.
Be comfortable. But if you're going to the same restaurant and you happen to be taking the wife or your girlfriend, or you're meeting a business client, but it's a casual night, tuck it in. And then you can wear the sport coat. Is, to me, a hugely underutilized garment. People think of, oh shoot, there you go. People think of a sport coat like that as something you only wear when you're dressing up. You got a pair of Levi's. If you have a blue blazer and you throw Levi's and some Chucks, some Vans. Vans are making a huge comeback right now. Everybody's wearing them. So Vans, a pair of nice Levi's, and a blazer with like a red chili pepper T-shirt. Oh, brother, you're killing it. Like, you're absolutely killing it. Okay. So you can throw that in. It's not strictly just for dress. It's not just a dress up garment.
So let me ask you just. I'm going to get some free advice from you here, John.
Oh, sure thing, brother.
So and then also for our viewers, you can order these if you go to oldguytalks.com and get yourself some swag. And just so you know, nothing cheap touches the old guy's flesh.
Nice. I like that.
These are wicking T-shirts, not some cheap cotton thing. It's actually
nice.
It's a very high quality thing. So if I wanted to, I'm going to an event a week from today, and it's a guys thing. It's actually a guys group. I'm figuring out whether they're going to figure out whether I fit in, and I'm going to figure out whether I fit in, and all that stuff. But then we're going to have cigars. The first hour is cigars, and so I think I'll be fitting in. But so if I want to wear my old guy's T-shirt, and by the way, just so we know, we have a full. You can do the full reverse Monty, where we have the hoodie.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, let me show you there's a sweatshirt. And again, it's a high quality, heavy duty, heavy gauge sweatshirt. We have the hat here, the Old Guy Talks hat.
Love it.
You get a mug, which I don't have to show you, and then there's also an Old Guy Talks rocks glass.
Oh, you win.
And sweatpants. It's a full reverse Monty that you get, and part of your purchase does go to charity. So now I got that commercial in. So John, what do you say? I have a black blazer. I have a blue blazer. How do I dress this? How do I dress this thing up so I can go wear it? And I'm going to a very, very fancy country club, maybe one of the fanciest ones here in town.
Okay, if you're going to one of the fanciest country clubs in town, you're asking me how do you walk in wearing your Old Guy Talks T-shirt? With
a blazer and all that, and dress because everybody's going to be pretty casual there too. Okay. It's a bunch of guys smoking cigars and having dinner. Right.
That's cool. The thing for me is when you put the blazer on, it's probably going to cover your logo. Like let's think about this. So when you put it on, you're going to cover the logo. So to me, it's defeating the purpose of wearing the T-shirt under the blazer. If you have something that it has the logo where it could be seen, like if it's centered kind of in the chest and not off, on one of the breasts, it'll be easier. That is, so you've got navy blue right there. It's a navy blue T-shirt, and you've got a black blazer, and you said a blue one.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What shade of blue is your blazer?
It's a traditional navy blue blazer.
Okay, so you're going blue on blue. That one kind of strikes it out right now. I wouldn't go blue on blue. You could pull the black off, but I would wear a lighter shade of pants, like a lighter shade of like light jeans, whether they're like a light gray or a light blue. I see the wheels spinning. You're going through your closet right now. I absolutely love that. What color, so if you have something that is a lighter color, you can make that work. That
Okay.
the light color on the bottom with the black on top. And here's the one thing that I would encourage you to do: throw a pocket square in that match it, that is a shade or two off, don't match, of the red that's on that old guy right there.
Okay.
If you have, because what will happen is as you're talking, you know, the logo will start to creep. They'll see it, and the reds will play off each other, and it'll be a color thing. And a red pocket square done tastefully, just showing just a little bit in the pocket on a black blazer is it looks very, very sharp. It's very powerful. It's a very powerful combination.
All right. And do you ever recommend wearing a blazer and something like that with some Lululemon sweatpants? He's going, no, thank you.
I haven't. I'm not gonna say have you lost your ever loving mind.
But
there's probably pretty close. There's probably an occasion where you could do it if you were the CEO of Lululemon, or you were going to meet and try and purchase, say, I don't know, like health clubs, things like that. You could probably get away with it. But
yeah, well, I don't think my wife would let me walk out of the house like that.
It's funny how the women are smart like that.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much the case. And so since we kind of went to kind of the casual, when you're totally, should you ever feel bad about just totally dressing down?
Do I? No, I don't at all. None whatsoever, because there's a time and a place. If I'm totally dressed down, I'm probably mowing the lawn, smoking a cigar. I'm going to wash the car. I'm running some errands. Like, I'm comfortable dressing down. Like, this is not how I go about my life 24/7. I made the comment to my wife. You know, I enjoy wearing the clothes and having fun with it. But when the day ends, I'm just like everybody else. I want to take it off. I want to be in a pair of comfy sweat. You know, give me the Lululemon pants that feel awesome, and a t-shirt. if I'm chilling around the house. Yeah. Sure. No, I don't feel bad at all. Not at all.
Okay. So John, if somebody wanted to work with you, how do they get a hold of you?
Right now, the easiest way to do is to DM me on. They can opt into my Facebook page, or the website is badasshaberdashery.com.
Actually, I've got it. I don't know if you can see it. I got it at the bottom. And also your Facebook page there.
Yep. Those two. My Instagram is pretty much where all my content is right now. So you can just reach out, DM me there. The one commercial plug right now, what I'm doing for Valentine's Day, I'm cutting the price of the initial closet evaluation and the free ensemble for Valentine's Day in half. $49.99. I'll take an hour. I'll go through a closet. I'll assess. I'll give guidelines. I'll give direction, and I'll put something together for any man that reaches out, mentions this live feed. $49.99, and I'll do it right up until Valentine's Day. So anybody who's watching, and that's what I do. It's so much fun to get into a guy's closet and to put things together, and the look on a man's face when they go, I never even thought about that, but that looks really cool. The better look is when that man walks out of his closet and his wife sees him, and the wife gives him the look of, oh yeah, honey, yeah, that's nice.
That's one of the advantages of upgrading your packaging.
Oh yeah. I got a great story real quick, and then I'll shut up. I had a client of mine that was he lives out in Boise, Idaho. He was going on a cruise, and I had been working with him for about 3 weeks, and he's about halfway through the process of our 6-week course. And he went shopping with his wife, and he's in the store, and he started trying some things on that he never would have tried before working with me. And he calls me back after he gets back from shopping. He goes, "You're never going to believe this." I was like, "What happened?" He goes, "I grabbed some stuff and I went in the dressing room. I didn't know what to think." He goes, "John, I put it on and I walked outside of the dressing room, and my wife gave me the bedroom eyes. I was like, oh. She took one look at me and shook her head and went, yes. And we all know that when the queen looks at us with that look and says, yes, you make damn sure you're going to get whatever you have on at that point.
That sounds pretty good. That sounds wonderful. So, John, I want to thank you. And by the way, guys, I'm going to say this because I have this pet peeve about these holidays like Valentine's Day and all that stuff. You know, you could save yourself. You could actually gain a lot of, shall I say, feelings and all of that by not necessarily waiting until it's Valentine's Day to buy flowers. Do it once a month. Do it once a month. You put it into your calendar so it pops up as a reminder. I've been doing it for so long. I mean, I've been doing it for like 20 years. But you go in, you go to the supermarket, it's $9.99 for a dozen red roses. And you do it on a weekday when no one's expecting it, and it's really appreciated. And it just shows that you care. You do it consistently, once a month, and it's just it's a good thing to do. It's a good thing to do to show how you appreciate that special person in your life. So that's all I'm going to say is because you see everyone's like they're rushing to buy that, now, on Valentine's Day, that $9.99 thing is going to be $40. And there's a row of guilty guys in line to buy that stuff.
Yeah, I got a voice message from my wife this morning, and this is exactly what she said to me. She goes, "Don't get flowers because I already have flowers on the counter. I don't want or need you wasting your money on flowers right now." I was like, and that's a great thing to hear because it's the norm. It's not the exception.
Yeah. My wife hates retail, paying retail. So she does. And on Valentine's Day, it's super retail.
Every poor bastard that hasn't done it all year.
And the same thing goes for that overpriced dinner. Oh gosh, yeah. So everybody seems to do that, and go do that. So, John, I want to thank you, and folks, right there, you can see at the bottom of the screen how to get a hold of John so that he can work with you or that significant other person in your life that you may say, oh gosh, you need to work on what you're wearing. You need some professional help. You need a makeover. So this is, we got one comment here. Let me see what that. Oh, hi, Angela. Great tip. Flowers for no special occasion mean more than flowers on a holiday. Absolutely, Angela. You're absolutely correct. That's it's like I said, you got these Hallmark holidays, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, all that stuff, and it's just if you do it on days that are not special occasions, especially on a weekday. I was buying flowers once, and somebody and the woman at the cash register looks at me and she goes, "You must be in really big trouble to be buying flowers on a Tuesday morning."
Yep.
I said, "No, I'm not. I just do it on a regular basis." So
that's awesome.
All right, John, thanks again. This is Orsi, the old guy from www.oldguytalks.com. Remember, go to my site and buy some swag, and you can wear it with a sport coat. There's also sweatpants that I failed to mention that has Old Guy Talks on the butt. You can wear those, and especially if you have someone in your family that has sweatpants that has juicy on the butt, you can wear Old Guy Talks on the butt and be the talk of the people at the mall. People will come up to you and say, "Where did you get those pants?" Remember, folks, it's all about creating a kick-ass life for yourself and those that you love. Take care.
Yep. Awesome. Thanks, Or.
If you are interested in creating a kick-ass life for yourself and those that you love, then become a member at oldguytalks.com and get access to the cave area, where not only do I have my interviews with doctors on cutting-edge therapies for erectile dysfunction, but I will have other things that are posted in there that will help you create that kick-ass life that you want for yourself and others. And we're going to be talking a lot about different kinds of vices and virtues. So opt in and become a member. Now I want to make sure that you do 3 things. 1, subscribe so you don't miss any of these episodes. 2, share it with your friends, because they need to hear this information also, to get this stuff so they can have a kick-ass life. And 3, review this podcast. And if you've got a bad review, that's fine too. Thanks for listening, and be sure to subscribe, share, and review. Until next time, remember, it's all about creating a kick-ass life for yourself and those that you love.